working in the election office in 1981, and I continued through 1987 when I was given another position in the office when the deputy for property tax and valuations retired. And so my predecessor, Isabel Frericks, was planning to retire in 1988, and she asked me if I would like to kind of get my feet wet in that area of the office with a view towards running in 1988. The technology has changed completely, and another big change is the amount of early voting, absentee voting that occurs now. When I started, if we had over 1,000 people voting absentee, that was a lot. So yeah, when I started in elections in 1981, we were using the big mechanical machines where you pulled the little levers that were all in a row, and then when you were all done, you pulled this great big lever that rang a bell and opened the curtain, and that cast your vote. And that was the common machine all over the country. And then, by the mid-90s, counties started shifting to electronic machines. And that was a whole process and evolution that got us to where we are today. My greatest role model was Assistant County Attorney Pete Burke. Pete was a wonderful guy. He was always there with the information. He was the Assistant County Attorney who advised the Board of Supervisors and other elected officials. So he was at all the Board of Supervisors weekly meetings, and we sat next to each other for many, many years, and was somebody who did not put himself forward as the person that had to be listened to, but if there were times that he felt that the board needed to hear something and they didn't ask for it, he wasn't afraid to interrupt in the most polite way imaginable, and kindly pass along good advice. And he and I had similar interests in reading history and current events, and we would talk about books and share books with each other. And he just, his positive attitude and his calm demeanor were just great things to emulate. Well, a very challenging time was the COVID pandemic. We were preparing to have a special election in Cedar Falls, and then when the pandemic became really serious and everything started getting canceled, the question was, well, are we going to cancel this election because it's going to be putting people at risk going to the polls and so forth. We ended up, I think it was supposed to be in March or April. We ended up doing it in July, and even then, all these precautions had to be taken. That was right in the middle of the pandemic, and the county auditors across the state were also working together. It's one of the greatest organizations I've ever been in is my fellow county auditors. We work very closely, and it was a great time for showing how people can cooperate together in a crisis. So And our staff here at the county, with Karen Showalter particularly, and Amy Jensen and Josh Rosendahl in the election office, were just fantastic. And we had a job to do that we had to change a lot of our processes in doing it, and I think we brought it off as well as could have been hoped for. And there's a lot of pride in what we did here locally, across the state, across the country, and that's something that I'll always remember, is how the election administration community all over the country responded to that crisis. I see myself as a team player, and I work with people on ideas and projects. I try to give the benefit of whatever expertise I may have, but it's usually somebody else that has the idea, and I try to work to put it into effect. And teamwork and cooperation, that's my big accomplishment. Well, I have a strong background in history, and I'm a big enthusiast about Abraham Lincoln. I've done a lot of study, reading and writing about him. I was fortunate enough to be a member of the Iowa Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial Commission back at the time of the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, and we did a number of projects. One of them was highlighting Lincoln's connections to associations with the state of Iowa. And so I did some presentations on that, wrote some articles about it, and I was shocked to find that nobody had ever written a book about that. And so I decided at one point that I should write that book, and started writing a couple of years ago, but it's hard to get into a rhythm. I'm hoping I can get that rhythm once I'm retired. And I did like being county auditor. It's the kind of job where you don't do the same thing every day. There's always something new happening. It has its unpleasantness and stressful sides. But once again, if I hark back to our group of county auditors across the state, you could always find somebody who's going through the same thing you were, and that would give you good advice or solace, and also this, it gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of people, wonderful people that I've gotten to know that work for the county or that I just know within Black County, and it goes beyond that to around the state, the county auditors and other county officials around the state, National Association of Counties. I've been very involved with that for a long time. I've been on the board of directors for much longer than I deserve to be, and met many wonderful people around the country, and got to visit a lot of wonderful places. So a lot of great experiences associated with this job.